extrema. You're going to need a graphing calculator, and I'll show you how to do it on the 84, 83, as well as the Inspire. So first of all, let's talk about what extrema is. So extrema is the smallest and largest values of a function. There's three different types. So before we get to that, the plural of maximum, just so you know, some vocab. Is maxima. So you can have two maxes, but we'll talk about that again in a little bit. And then plural of minimum is minima. Together they're extrema. So, show you two examples. We're not going to work with numbers just yet though, so we're going to make two small coordinate planes. Alright, so for this one, let's say we have our graph look like this. Go up, curve back down, go up, curve back down with arrows. I'd like you to mark this x value A, and this one B, and have it be right underneath these two turning points. And then this y value will be f of A, right, whatever the y value is for this x, and up here will be f of B. So here, f of A is a relative maximum. Relative is important. So this is a relative maximum, whereas f of B is the absolute maximum. So take additional side notes if you'd like. So there can be a bunch of different peaks, if you will. The highest one is the absolute, and there's only one. So this is the highest point. This is the maximum. But if we just focused on this little interval, this could be considered a max. So we call it a relative maximum, and there could be a bunch of them. But there can only be one absolute max. Let's talk about minimum. So this would be a relative minimum because we have arrows here, so there is never going to be a minimum point because it goes down infinitely. So this would be a relative minimum. And let's do another little graph, and then we'll do an example. going to be bothering me if these aren't the same. Still not exactly the same, but that's okay. We will accept it. Okay, so I'd like to do a similar graph, but this one will have two minimums. So let's do something like this. So again, this will be our A value, this will be our B value. Here we have f of A, and down here we have f of B. So for the graph I just drew, f of A is a relative minimum, and f of B, is the absolute max minimum, meaning it is the lowest point. Okay, so f of B is the absolute, f of A is the relative, and then this would be a relative max. So let's do an example and I'll show you how to use it in your calculator. Example. Classify the extrema. And our function will equal 2x cubed minus 4x squared minus x plus 5. Okay, so let me grab my calculators. Okay, so I'll do the TI 8384 first. If you have an n-spire, you can skip ahead. So the first thing you're going to want to do is graph your equation. So to graph, you go to y equals. Remember, when we want to graph something, we have to make sure our scatter plots are off. So you're going to do press second y equals and make sure all your plots are off. If they are, go back to y equals. To quit, you just press second mode. So what's our equation? 2x cubed. Where's my caret? 2x. Oh, it's up here. 2x cubed minus 4x squared minus x plus 5. Okay, so I'm going to press graph. My window is a little ridiculous right now, so I'm going to go to window, quit. Sorry, it was thinking because I was trying to graph. If it's trying to graph something, you can press on and it will stop it from graphing. So I'm going to go to my window, make the minimum -10, the maximum +10, and let's graph and see what that looks like. Alright, so because I can see both of my turning points, this is probably a good window. You could even zoom in, so it looks like I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, like maybe 5, 5. See what that looks like. Yeah, then I can see it even better. So you want to be able to see the minimum and the maximum. Now what you're going to do next is you're going to trace your graph. So you're going to press second trace to get to calc. And we want to find the minimum and the maximum. So decide which one you want to do first. Let's do the minimum first. Now, it says left bound, so I need to go a little bit to the left of my minimum, right? So here's my minimum, I'm a little to the left, I hit enter. Now it says right bound, so I'm going to go a little to the right and hit enter. That's the estimate. It's weird. You need to hit enter again, and bam, there's my minimum and my maximum. If it's not giving you enough decimal places, you need to go to mode and make sure your graph is on float. So quickly doing that again. Little to the left, little to the right, enter. Minimum. Now what kind of minimum is this? Well, because it goes down infinitely, this is just a relative minimum. So here, my relative minimum, oops, I want to do a color. Is 1.45, right? And my y value is 1.24, so I'm just going to round to the nearest hundredths. Now I want to do the maximum, so it's going to be very similar. I'm going to press second trace, go to maximum, and then I'm going to go all the way over. So I'm a little to the left of my maximum, hit enter. Go a little to the right of my maximum, hit enter, guess, hit enter again, and then it thinks about it, and bam, there's my maximum. So let's write that. Now that's not a maximum, it's a relative maximum, not an absolute, because this goes up infinitely. So this is a relative maximum. My x value is at negative 0.12. And my y value is at 5.06. Alright, so let me show you how to do that on the TI Inspire. TI Inspire is a little easier in my opinion. Actually, I guess that was better, huh? Okay, so the first thing I want to do is graph it, so I need to clear this. I'm going to delete, delete, delete. So I got a clear coordinate plane. I'm going to press tab and enter my equation. So 2x cubed minus 4x squared minus x plus 5. Looks good. I hit enter. There's my graph. I could change the window if I want, like I did earlier. Press menu, go down to 4 Windows settings, so 1, and then what did we say? -5 could be our x min and max. And then there I go. So now we're going to press menu again, and we're going to go down to analyze graph, so 6, and same idea. So for minimum, again you want to do lower bound, so I go to the left of the minimum, so this is to the left. You don't want to go too far left because then it won't, it'll get confused by this. So I'm going to hit OK in the middle, and then it says upper bound, so I need to go to the right. And then, oops, it's a bit far, and then hit OK. And then there's my minimum, so 1.4, exactly what we wrote before. I believe you can click this and like move it if you need, but okay. So then for maximum, menu, analyze graph, 3, and now this time I'm going to go a little bit to the left, hit OK. A little bit to the right of the maximum, hit OK, and then there's my maximum. And we write it as a coordinate point. And remember these, because of our graph, these two are both relative. And that's it.